It's no secret wherever Novak Djokovic goes, he creates a racket. And no, we aren't talking about his controversies. We're referring to his insane talent for making history and earning new honors. The star player is already 35 and is showing no sign of ending his rule over tennis. Naturally, he started 2023 by writing his name in the record books, beating even Rafael Nadal. So, let's discover Novak's record in today's video. First up, Noel's new record surpassing Rafa. The Balkan champ started his year in Australia, generating buzz. This is exactly the country that disgracefully deported the player last year. He wasn't even allowed to defend his Australian Open crown. No wonder his return to the island nation was the talk of the town. But before stepping on the Grand Slam's mega stage, Djokovic first tested his skills at the Adelaide International 1 tournament. And boy, did he pass the test with flying colors. The legendary player zoomed through the stages, besting Canadian Denis Shapovalov in the quarterfinals and Daniil Medvedev in the semis to reach the finals. This became the 131st final of Novak's career. He's now one final ahead of Nadal, who's resting at 130. A win over your longtime rival is always welcome, isn't it? Also, he's now the 4th player to reach the most finals in tennis. Hold up, it's not over yet. He may have surpassed the Spanish star, but he needs to beat 3 more players, and they have quite a margin between them. The former Czech-American player Ivan Lendl is in 3rd place with 146 finals. Climbing nearly 10 finals up is Noel's other historic opponent, Roger Federer. The Swiss superstar has a comfortable 157 finals, but he's still not number 1. The player with the most finals is the American legend Jimmy Connors. The former player has played in 164 finals. Whoa, that's a long way to go for the Serb. Up next, he also equaled the Spaniard's other record with the victory. Djokovic didn't just stop at reaching the final. Nope, he's gotta have them all. So he clinched the win by defeating Sebastian Korda 6-7, 7-6, and 6-4. The scores are enough to tell you what a nail-biter it was. The thrilling match went on for 3 hours and 9 minutes. Both players went toe-to-toe, matching each other's stride. We gotta compliment Korda for his phenomenal game. Sadly, he lacked that coup de grace that shifted the match into the Noel's lap. Ultimately, the former world number 1 came out on top. And as Sportskeeda said, Novak Djokovic's love story with Australia continued. Damn straight, did you know it's his 34th straight win in the country? The last time he lost here was in 2018 against Taion Chung. Of course, he couldn't play on Australian soil last year, but that didn't bother him at all. He's back, baby, and he's back to win it all. With it, he equaled Nadal's record of winning 92 tour titles. So what? The Spanish star has played 1 final less than him? They're both leveled at the same number. Again, they're led by Lendl with his 94 wins, Federer with his 103 titles, and the all-time winner Connors with 109 victories. No doubt, both Rafa and Noel have their work cut out for them if they need to ascend the ranks. Also, this victory was super crucial for Novak to silence his critics. They'd been bashing the Serb over his Novak stance, saying he's compromising his game because of it. But so far, his reign remains undisturbed. Moving on, the Serb is no stranger to creating history. When it comes to Djokovic, it's always reigning records. Since he started his career in 2003, the star has never looked back. It's always upwards and onwards for him. The professional player's portfolio is glittering with unique achievements, such as when he defeated all the top 10 players of 2015. Noel was in insane form that year, winning matches left, right, and center. Such a feat had never happened before, and it didn't happen again. If you thought that was it, oh, we're just getting started. The Balkan star is the only tennis player in history to do the big title sweep, and he's done it twice. Now that's saying something. First, he won all the top-tier events in 2018, then he repeated the phenomenon just 3 seasons later in 2021. What's more, he's the only man to win all 4 majors consecutively, not to mention the year-end championship. In 2015, he took Wimbledon's title, then the US Open, followed by the ATP Tour Finals, Australian Open 2016, and the French Open 2016. Whew, the man has been really busy. Finally, the 21-time Grand Slam winner has spent 373 weeks at the number 1 rank, the most by any player in history. The time he managed to beat Federer, Sampras, Lendl, and Connors, who ranked below him. If you ever question why Novak Djokovic is in the GOAT debate, these are the reasons why. Up next, he has his eyes on the next Grand Slam honor. All these records aren't enough for him. The Serb desperately desires the Australian Open trophy. It's his revenge mission. What better shut-up call to the haters than winning the tournament that set him back? But there are other prizes too. For starters, if he wins wins it, it'll be his 10th time doing so. No other player has won a Grand Slam 10 times, except Nadal, of course. His choice of a tournament? The French Open. El Nino has won that championship 14 times, earning the title of King of Clay. The second season why Joker needs to win again brings Rafa into the mix. Currently, the Spaniard has 22 Grand Slams, the most by any male player, whereas Noel has 21. If he nails this one, he'll level Nadal's record. Now that sure raises the stakes. Before winning his 21st Slam, people had been massively teasing the Serbian star on how he never got his 21st in the Australian Open 2022. But the same year, he managed to get it by winning the All England Lawn Tennis Championship. Sadly, by that time, world number 2 had another slam to his name, the very tournament Noel was kicked out of. So these two legends are stuck in a close race for ages. Maybe 2023 can settle the scores once and for all. Now let's talk about Novak's biggest threats at the Australian Open, starting with his all-time rival Rafael Nadal. This one's a no-brainer. The two players have a historic rivalry that's recently made tennis much more enjoyable. They still have to settle the GOAT debate. Remember, their other nemesis, Roger Federer, bid farewell to the sport last year. Now Rafael's also the defending champion of 2023's first Grand Slam. There's no denying he put up a great show in the absence of Djokovic last year, so it's not going to be easy for the Serbinator now. But then again, 2023 isn't looking good for Spain's raging bull. He started the season with the United Cup and faced 2 back-to-back defeats. This is the first time it has happened in his career. Yikes! So maybe the odds will be in Noel's favor. His form looked amazing in Adelaide International, and he's also the top seed. That is, if he can get past the other challengers. Let's not forget the Russian player Daniil Medvedev. Daniil is looking more and more dangerous, especially after Novak defeated him in the Adelaide semi-final. That loss lit a fire under him, and he's now more motivated than ever to settle the scores. Speaking about his loss to the Serb, Medvedev said he wants to show his best against them, and he could be back winning against these guys winning tournaments. Remember, Rafa and Noel are the only players to beat him in Melbourne. The Russian has come super close to winning this tournament. He's consecutively been the runner-up in the contest for the last 2 years. This time, he's determined to change that. He also believes in himself because he's defeated both of his opponents at least once, so he knows he can do it again. We've already seen his potential on Australian soil, so the GOATs better watch out for him. This time, he's coming for the trophy and won't take no for an answer. Now for Nick Kyrgios with his home ground advantage. We can't forget the Aussie that'll be totally lethal at his home. He can really draw out the crowds in crazy numbers. And you already know how a majority crowd supporting and chanting your name can raise your spirit. If the opponent lacks nerves, he's already defeated in the psychological battle. Luckily for Djokovic, his nerves are pretty steady. Even though he was unsure how the Australian crowd would receive him, they've been super welcoming. Now that levels the field. On another note, Nick has the balls to win, and we mean this quite literally. The tournament is using Dunlop balls that are light and perfect for hitting. Everyone knows Kyrgios' strong suit is his attacking game. That's why he's emerging as a tough-to-beat player for the edition. But here's where things get tricky for the Aussie. He's struggling with an injury that made him pull out of the United Cup and the Adelaide International. Leaving your home country's tournaments doesn't look cool, but it speaks volumes about his injury's extent. If it doesn't heal until the Grand Slam begins, he's out, and he might not be the only one. Last but not least, an injury may be his biggest threat. Noel's record-making victory wasn't the only thing that got people talking. In a 75-minute practice match with Medvedev, he was seen leaving half an hour early. Apparently, he had a hamstring injury scare. Now that's bad news. Even the organizers are worried sick about him potentially retiring from the contest. His The Arena showdown with Nick Kyrgios is already sold out, promised to be a blockbuster clash. They can't have the Serbinator leaving now. Unfortunately, we might have seen it coming. Djokovic also backed out of a hyped match at Dubai's World Tennis League at the 11th hour. Coincidentally, that was against Nick too. The star didn't give a solid reason except that he wasn't feeling 100% well enough to play. That disappointed the fans big time. Let's hope this new injury is just a scare, and the star will return to dazzle us as scheduled. And that's a wrap. Do you think Novak can break more of Rafael's records? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and share the video with all the Djokovic fans you know. Subscribe to our channel for more smashing content like this. We'll see you in the next one.